if you are if you joined late, you can scroll up somewhere. I have posted the text here, PDF. If you scroll up in the chat, then you will see that there is a text. You can download that. Okay. Yeah. So the wanderlust that we are talking about is, as ancient as self ignorance. We have a saying in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Atmanam ched vijaniyat ayam asti iti purushah tat kimicchan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. If one knows the Atma, if one knows oneself, then, Chet means if. So why does the Upanishad say if? The if is a very big if, because the, you know, you have to say if, because it's a lot of preparation to get to know this, to qualify for this knowledge. So therefore the if one knows this, because there are so many stumbling blocks along the way, mainly internal blocks. So if one knows this, Atmanam chet vijaniyat, and if one knows this as what? This knowledge, this Atma as what? I am Asmi. This Atma is myself alone. There is a kind of a owning up. There's a assimilation. There is a re-identification. The wrong identification with everything finite, and this whole mutual superimposition of trying to make the infinite finite and trying to make the finite infinite, all these things are gone. They're all gone, and all that wrong identification has been dropped, in the wake of which knowledge, that is what is called Atma Jnanam. And so the Atma Jnanam becomes an antidote to Atma Jnanam. And in this Atma, in this Atma Jnanam, one who has basked in the light of Atma Jnanam, what is there? One sees that, I am Asmi iti. This is me alone. There is a sense of ownership. There is a sense of owning up. This is myself alone. It's not anybody else. I am Asmi. I am Atma. Aham Asmi. That Aham is not there in the sentence, but that Aham is very much there, because the Asmi only goes with Aham in Sanskrit. You cannot say Saha Asmi. That would be a wrong sentence. Yeah. Aham Asmi. I am. So if you just say am, it's enough. That means the I is included. I am Asmi, iti I am Atma, aham Asmi. There is that ownership. Iti Purushaha. Purushaha means this Purusha, this Sarvan Purayati, the one who fulfills everything, the one who is everything, the one who says, I am Asmi iti Purushaha. Tat, therefore, tataha, therefore, kim icchan. Desiring what? Kasya kamaya. Desiring what? Desiring for whose sake? For the sake of fulfilling which desire? Shariram anusanjvaret. Jvara means fever, yeah. Jvara means affliction. It's connected to heat, actually, fever. Jvara is fever. Sanjvara is a chronic, a very nice fever, a fever that doesn't go. Sanjvara, because that prefix sam, it means nicely done. So therefore, a nice fever, meaning the one, a fever that is here to stay, so to speak. So a chronic fever. So Shariram Anusanjvaret. Very nice, Sanskrit is beautiful. So anusanjvaret means what? The one, why will one go? Why will one take on the fever that is connected to this body? And what does and the body has many, many kinds of fevers. The body has the fever of finitude. The body has the fever of, mortality. The body has the fever of all kinds of things. Jara. Jara means old age. That is the root verb for geriatry. That must be jara only. Yeah. So jara, and janma, birth. Birth is itself so difficult. These are all body dharmas. And then what? Janma, mrityu, of course, death. And then in between janma and mrityu, jara, vyadhi. All the vyadhi means all various kinds of afflictions, old age, all these things. So then the body is going through all these, difficulties, this sanjvara, and the mind is going through another kind of sanjvara. The senses are getting weaker and weaker. Jarayanti teja, the sharpness of all of them are declining. So this is what Nachiketa says in Kathopanishad. And so the sharpness of everything is declining. And then what? Why will I identify Anu Sanjvaret? Anu means to go after, to go along with, to follow. So they are all going through their own fevers. The body is going through its madness, the mind is going through its madness, the senses are all finite, they are going through this madness. Why would anybody who knew the self go through these, through these feverish, what should I say, frenetic, the loop of action reaction? Why would anybody do that? This is a very, it's actually a mahavakya, because that ayam asmi comes ayam purushaha is also purushaha only. The lengthening is just for the chandas, meter. And so therefore what? So this sarvan purayati iti. And the one who is identifying with the jvara is what? Is a jiva, is a samsarin. Samsarin means the one who is in samsara. That's why samsarin. So so this the one who is in samsara is, what is the difference between the one who is not having this jvara and the one who is feeling feverish? The second person is a jiva, is a samsari. And what is the difference? The difference is that the samsari takes on this misidentification completely and totally. That is the main thing. The samsari takes on the misidentification so much so that it is complete. And so therefore what? There is, so the samsari, what will the samsari do? Shariram anusanjvaret. Will definitely go along with the affliction, nay, take on the affliction of the body and think it to be belonging to himself or herself, take on the affliction of the mind, the senses, etc. Old age, disease, death, everything is me alone, not even mine. At least there is some kind of a genetic, genitive case. But here it is me alone. This is the problem. And the Brihadaranyaka Vakya, poses a rhetorical question. Kimichan. Because what is there to desire? You are everything. In fact, you are the only thing that is. This is what is revealed by the Shastra. There is nothing other than you. There is no one like you. There is no one unlike you. There is nothing to compare yourself with. And we'll see very soon the text will tell us why. There is nothing to compare yourself to. And so why would you, Kim Icchan, desiring anything would be desiring something. Desiring anything would mean that you are operating under the premise that something other than you is left to desire. That is so because if you have a desire, minimum two things must be there. What is the first thing? Desirer. What is the second thing? Object of desire. So the subject I should be separated from the object of desire. And then what will I have? Then I'll have some yoga, a union. And then what? When we saw in the Vartika, Viyogantaha, Samyogaha, all unions are until separation. They last for a long time. When will they end? Till they end, yeah. they will end. This is what the whole thing is. Every union comes to an end. Every union is marked by a expiration date, a separation. So then, so samyoga is there. The desirer and the object of desire, go together. And then what happens? We come together. Enjoy, the desirer enjoys moments of oneness. And then what? And then finished. And then the longing pangs start again. And the longing is always for that truth of oneself to live, to internalize, but not knowing that the longing is directed everywhere else. And so people become objects of this longing, you know, things become objects of this longing. All this is what happens. So therefore, the this has to be understood. And the Brihadaranyaka Vakya says that, kim icchan. So the desire is not there to have something, because there is sarvatma bhava as a result of this knowledge. Sarvatma bhava means one knows that one is everything. So what is there to desire? The object of desire is not separate from you. Whatever you want, sarvan kaman samashnute, says another Upanishad, where one enjoys the one enjoys all desires in one stroke. How is that even possible? Because the knowledge queries into the status of the desirer. Is this identification with myself as the desirer true? If it is true, then I'll always be wanting, and the truth cannot be removed. So what are we doing here? If it is not true, it's a mistake, then that mistake has to be removed. And then we have a purpose for being here and talking about this and discussing this in detail. So this is the whole premise. And therefore, it is a very what is that? It is a very beautiful sentence. Kim icchan and kasya kamaya, for the sake of gaining what? Desiring what and gaining what? Everything is as though gained, everything is, as good as known, everything is as good as experienced. In other words, all desire to gain something, to fill something, to fulfill something, or to want something, all these are the result of Atma Ajnanam, to go here, go there. This is, sad but true. I don't know how else to sugarcoat it. And I don't think I should sugarcoat it, because, there is, it is not very helpful to sugarcoat it. I think gone are the days where we can say, yeah, this is also okay, that is also okay. Little bit of samsara, not too bad. Just don't overdo samsara. you know, Burp it up. You don't overdo samsara. And then what? Little bit of moksha. Don't overdo moksha either. This is what people tell each other in India. One class, Gita class you attend, it's okay. But don't overdo. Don't OD on Bhagavad Gita. Don't OD on, on all this Vedanta, everything. Why? Because then you will not be able to live in the society. All you keep asking such people is the question, so what? You won't be able to live in a society. So what? You'll become a misfit. So what? Or Mr. Fit, depending on, which gender you belong to. So what? You keep saying, so what? And you can tell in Sanskrit also, tatah kim, therefore what? In fact, we have a whole Gurvashtakam based on this refrain. Tatah kim, tatah kim, tatah kim, tatah kim. So you can be fancy and say in Sanskrit, tatah kim. So what? Then you will not have any friends. So what? I'll make friends with the people studying Vedanta. Like this, you can see. So this is what the whole thing is. People discourage because they are not in a position to do it, and then they see you doing it. It stirs up the yearning. It stirs up the roots, and the bulbs have been lying dormant for many, many janmas, and then you have been a blazer. You have been a trailblazer and taken up this, taken up this desire. You have given it form. You have recognized this desire as what? As the truth of all desires. You have recognized this as the primary and only desire. What desire is that? The desire to uh, query the nature of this desiring person with which I have identified fully. Is this real? And if it is not real, then it's better to drop that. If it is a shadow personality that I have taken on, it is better to drop that. This is what one has to come to. It's a quantum leap, you know. It's a quantum leap from going round and round and trying to fulfill this desire, that desire, because if this desire is not recognized, then what happens? It morphs into many, many, many versions, and all these versions create diversions from the original pain, the problem centered on not knowing the I as full, as whole, as complete. And that is what is the root of this wanderlust. Because if you sit quietly for some time, you feel like doing something else. If you sit in one place for some time, you feel like going somewhere else. And when I when I met when I met Pujya Swamiji in the initial days, then somebody, I remember this very well. People used to come and say, Swamiji, give me your blessings, because I'm just about to go on to this pilgrimage, and I'm going far away, and it's a very difficult pilgrimage, Manasarovar, or this Kedarnath, Badrinath, etc., etc. I'm going away, so please give me your blessings, And Swamiji would say, come back safely, and give them some prasad, some chocolate, laddu, whatever was on hand. And then one time, a new experience, because the person had come back from some Kedarnath, and so not Kedarnath, some other, I don't know which it was, some famous site. And they said, to Pujya Swamiji, Swamiji, this was wonderful. It was an out of world experience. And then now we have come back, and then very conversationally they inquired this family, Swamiji, have you gone there? Have you seen this place? And Swamiji very quietly said, my Shani Dasha has not yet started. This is what he said. Meaning, Shani Dasha means, where all these strange ideas come. I think I should go on a pilgrimage. I think I should go do this. The things you've never done before. I think I should open a restaurant. And then when, just 5 days before the lockdown, that these ideas come. Only because there is something called, the Saturn, what is that, period, a Saturn period within one's chart. 20 years you'll keep having wrong ideas, so, or whatever you do goes down the drain. This is all Bhagavan's way of bringing you to Vedanta and tying you in front of the computer to stay. This is Bhagavan's way of Bhagavan's way of ensuring that this knowledge happens, the Shani Dasha or whatever. And Shani Dasha is also the thing, because suddenly you feel, I have not seen, I have been in India, I am Indian, but I have not gone there. So what? Tatakim. No, but I want to see. I have to go there. And in this life, in this body, I have to go there. And so then all these strange ideas come. And so I thought it was very telling that Pujya Swamiji, in his own way, was assuring the person that there was no need to go anywhere. There was no need to have gone anywhere or done anything. But yet the wanderlust won't go, and even the wanderlust that's disguised as a pilgrimage will not go. Okay, I won't go on holiday, let me go to Kashi. Varanasim Purapatim Bhaje Vishwanatham. I want to go to Kashi. And Kashi, of all the pilgrimage sites, is seen as the highest and best attainment. It's both a place of atonement and a place of attainment, really. Because there are like I told you, every day in the olden days they didn't have blogs, they only had lores. And then these lores came, and these lores galore. And what are the what is the lore? That if you die in Kashi, you will have moksha. Why? Because it's on the banks of the Ganga. You will have moksha if you die in Kashi. Lore number one. Okay, I told you there is a plethora of lores here, no end of lores. So lore number one: if you die in Kashi, then you will get moksha. You know, is this true? Say no quickly so that we can move on, because you are all Vedantins. The only way to get moksha is to drop the identification of oneself as a, as any number of things that one is not. That is what is the only way, and which can only be accomplished by self knowledge. And if you don't know that right now, please take my word for it. That will become clear, because the problem is self ignorance. So self ignorance is not going to be band-aided by or remedied by anything other than self knowledge. Everything else is just a distraction. So therefore what? So therefore, this, if this is understood, then what Kashi? Where what is the use? But that, not understanding this gives rise to buying into a lot of these lores. So one lore we have seen: die there and get moksha. If you're born there, it's not a big deal. Forget it. I mean, there is no lore associated with being born in Kashi. That's not important. You can be born anywhere. But please, if you want to die and get moksha without Vedanta, this is the feeling. You go to Kashi because it's a holy place. Somehow, Kashi is associated with death in a very big way, and we'll talk about that soon. Kashi is associated with death because there is this connection of there is this connection of this kshetra called Kashi with death. It's all the burning, what is that? The ghats, the places of cremation are there on the banks of the Ganga. You can see them. You can see funerals taking place out in the open air. You can see that when you go there, and then that is, it is associated with death. And the belief is that if you give up your body in Kashi, you will not be born again. Punarjanma na vidyate. Tasya, for that person, there will be no punarjanma. And so therefore what? So then please go die in Kashi, and people make elaborate plans to go die in Kashi. Usually people who have lost their significant others, spouses, elderly people, and especially with whether they are widows or widowers, they will go to Kashi. They'll say, okay, what is the point? The children have grown and I'd like to get moksha. So what? I'll go to Kashi and then stay there till I die. And then what happens? Karma intervenes. That's what happens. So the grandma will have repaired to Kashi. She will buy herself a one-bedroom flat from the savings of whatever they had, she and her husband who has predeceased her. And grandma will go to Kashi and then stay there, stay there, stay there. 20 years she's there. And then they say, okay, now the great-grandchild has been born. Won't you come and see the great-grandchild? And of course a desire is born in the heart of the grandma. She travels to Kumbakonam to see the face of the great grandchild and expires there after waiting for death, waiting for moksha for 20 years in Kashi. Karma. This is what happens, So this is what is that. So the first lore is what? You go to Kashi, you in order to die, when you die in Kashi, you will not be reborn, meaning this samsara pandemic is gone, And even with this corona pandemic, we have so many urban lores. People keep sending things. In the beginning, people thought, the virus is resistant to heat, so you should drink hot things. And that was the least harmful of all the things that we were told to drink. So this is what this is what we have come to find out over the span of 6 months. Drink hot water, drink this, drink that. Increase your immunity by this, that, all that. Maybe there is something to it, but mostly it is some kind of a lore. People just keep on adding to something. The longer the disease is there, the more people go to town with all kinds of remedies. And the samsara pandemic, having been there, having been a very long standing disease, also has, you should not be surprised that it has so many remedies, naturally. So then this is the first lore. Another lore associated with, what is that? With Kashi is that when you go there, you wash off all your omissions and commissions, aka papas. You wash them off, you bathe, you dip in the Ganga, and the Ganga is a very pure river. There is some kind of a bacteria repellent property in the Ganga. So you will see that, for example, when the Ganga flows through cities like Prayagraj or Kanpur or places like that, where there are effluents coming from the mills and everything, city life, she becomes very dirty. You can see that. You can't really drink. But as soon as as she leaves the town, she becomes, back to just the pristine water. It's amazing. So resistant to bacteria. People bring Ganga water and keep it in their homes, and it is resistant to bacteria for very, very long time. And so therefore that property of cleansing, of purifying and remaining pure herself and purifying everything that comes into contact is associated with Ganga. So if she can purify everything that is seen, what about the subtle unseen papas which are there in my account? That Shraddha that is the second lore that is associated with Kashi. That, what is that? Yatra tatra kritam papam Kashyam, you know, vinashyati. So wherever the papa has been done, the papa may have been done in Mumbai, but then you go to Kashi to wash it off. You don't atone for it in Mumbai. You take the train, plane, whatever it is, and then you go all the way to Kashi and dip in the Ganga. The Narmada Godavari will not do. You dip in the Ganga, and then what? You come out, and then yatra tatra, wherever the papa might have been done, wherever you have done a bad deed, then the atonement or the upaya, the remedy, is in Kashi. Kashyam kritam papam. Supposing you do a bad deed in Kashi itself, where do you go to wash that off? Somebody asked that question, and the answer is Kumbhakone Vinashyati. So then you go to the south, another holy place called Kumbhakonam, and then there you wash it off. Then don't ask the question, Kumbhakone Kritam Papam. Then we'll be here, we'll be here till Christmas if we keep asking and then assigning new places to wash off the previous papas. So the whole idea is all the papas have their end point in Kashi. And the Hindu tradition, anybody calling themselves a Hindu is very obsessed with papas. You know why? Because they were done a long time ago, and we don't know what they are. Number one. Number two, nobody likes to do wrong things. They do them out of a kind of a duress, out of a pressure to gain something, which is again because of Atma Ajnanam. We've seen this in detail. Nobody likes to do anything, and nobody likes to do the wrong thing. And so the fact that I have done something wrong is weighing on the conscience. And so to find that there is a place that I can go to, and simply, closing my nostrils and dipping into the Ganga and coming out is going to wash me off. Wow, how nice! How wonderful! And actually there is a story of a saint in the 18th century, I think. Forgot his name. I'll tell you next time. And he was he was belonging to a Brahmin family, a Brahmana family, very learned scholar. And then it was 18th century. This thing, he fell in love with a Muslim woman and married her. And then in those days, this was just something which was not done at all. The orthodoxy was up against him, everybody was up against him, and then, he was ostracized. And then what he did was he went to the banks of the Ganga. He was thrown out of the village, he was thrown out of the area, and then his reputation preceded him. So wherever he went, he was thrown out, because somebody would know him or somebody would know of him, and then as soon as he was thrown out. So then, as an atonement, he went and sat in front of the Ganga, and then composed, I think, 1000 verses, one per day. Beautiful verses, fantastic verses. And then the last one, or the second last one, or one of them says, please come and, not only wash me off, but end this life, or something like that. And then I think that's what happened. There was a deluge, and he refused to move. And then it, took him along with it. That is the story. So you see, this is taken very seriously. So the what is that? So this the Papa of Sankara. It is called Sankara. Sankara means the mix-up of the mix-up of lineage and all that, causing grief to people around, causing disturbance and grief. To atone for that, he went to the Ganga. So like this, he went to Kashi, and so like this, so there is this second lore, which is very very strong, that this is something we have to see, that this is something we have to understand, that this Papa is very uncomfortable. So this Papa from the past is washed off, because one finds it difficult to live with oneself because of the guilt. That is one reason the Papa is not taken for granted in the Hindu tradition. The second reason is also equally practical. One does not like to live with a guilt, A, and B, one is also not very eager to experience the results of one's actions, especially if those actions have gone against dharma. So, non dharmic actions create or give rise to what is called papa. What is papa? Uncomfortable situations in the here or the hereafter that one has to experience as a result of that which was done earlier. This is what is called papa. You know, papa doesn't have a translation. It is a sin to translate papa as sin. That's the only sin in my book, because papa is not sin. you know Papa is uncomfortable situations, as whatever one has done in this or previous lives, which gives rise to, non dharmic actions that one has done in this or other lives, that gives rise to uncomfortable situations that one has to experience and exhaust. This is what Papa is. So therefore, Papa has a very, high premium in the life of a Vaidika. And so therefore, what? Washing, if somebody says, you go here and take a bath and wash off the Papas, how wonderful. That itself invokes Shraddha, and that Shraddha itself, makes this come true. Shraddha makes a lot of things come true, because your belief itself makes it a reality, and with enough people believing in it, with a critical mass believing in it, that Bhagavan gives the what is that gives the results of that Shraddha. The grace is tapped into, and the grace of Bhagavan takes away the papas. For these two, the Kashi goers are plenty. There is everybody, you can skip any pilgrimage, but Kashi is on the list. You have to tick off Kashi, you know and then you have to tick it off. It has to be on the, if the Hindu had a bucket list, Kashi would be on it. Hindus generally don't have bucket lists. Why? Because we have rebirth. If not in this life, we'll experience it in next life. We are in no pressure. We can have a whole lot of desires, but we will not have a bucket list. But if the Hindu were to make a bucket wish, then it would be bucket list means before you kick the bucket. That's what the idea is. So, if there was a wish, it is to go visit Kashi. That is the whole idea. Now, the word Kashi is very interesting. Kashi, Kashah asya asti iti Kashi. Kashin, and the Kashin Pratipadika. Kashin is the root word, and then if you decline it, the nominal will become Kashi, long e. Kashi. But what is this kasha? Kasha asya asti. That which has kasha is called kashi. What is kasha? That comes from the root verb chakasra deeptau, light. That's how the word prakash, prakashah, kashah, akashah, asamantat kashate iti akashah. So all these words have come from the same root verb chakasra deeptau, in the sense of lighting up, in the sense of light. So Kashi, there is a pun because it's a city of light. In fact, earlier in the long ago in ancient India, Kashi was a kingdom. Varanasi was its capital. Then later on, it was referred to in the it's referred to in the contemporary, contemporaneous writing as a nagari. Nagari means as a city. So it was at some point a kingdom, and then later on it became, conflated with a city, also known as Kashi. And so it is the shining city. The shining city where you go and die to not be born. Now we are entering into a lovely level of symbolism. You are going to die there to never be born again, and then what? And then you are also going there to wash off all the omissions and commissions. So the washing off the omissions and commissions is, which have been accrued, which have been collected as a result of nonsensical and needless, mindless raga and dvesha, strong preferences and prejudices, again is rife with symbolism. Washing off the results of having all these raga and dveshas. And that's why when people go to Kashi, even today, they give up something that they like. That is the idea. You go there and make a vrata, a vow that you will give up something that you really like. But that is just, aupacharika. Aupacharika means just for the sake of it. Usually people will go and give up Karela and come back. Karela is bitter gourd, which nobody likes anyway. They'll give up Karela. Nobody goes to Kashi, very few, I should say, will go to Kashi and give up ice cream, chocolate cake, things like that. Those are generally not given up. But the idea is that you give up one raga. That is the idea. You give up your raga dveshas, symbolized by a particular eatable or fruit that you love, or some dish that you really love, and then you don't eat it lifelong. You don't eat it at all. You don't touch it. You don't look at it. That is the idea. At least one raga you have conquered. It makes you feel good. There is a sense of achievement going to Kashi. So you see, this is very symbolic. So then the giving up of ragadveshas, which is important for washing off the papas, which leads to the papas to begin with. You know, consider the what is that, the verse from the what is that, Bhagavad Gita, 336 or 37, 336 I think. अथ केन प्रयुक्तेन पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः. Arjuna asks, kena prayuktena, impelled by what reasons, impelled by whom? Does the person commit papa? Does the person commit or go on the path of wrongdoing? Transgress dharma, cross dharma? Why? Why does the person do it? Anichannapi, knowing that this is wrong, not wanting to do it. Baladiva niyojitaha. Oh Lord Krishna, it looks like this arrangement is a setup. One has been set up as though to do papa. One has been actually set up here. It's a terrible setup, oh Lord Krishna. I don't want to do papa, but I'm as though being forced to do arrange. The arrangement is such that the raga dveshas take over and I do papa. So therefore what, so going to Kashi and to give up the raga dveshas is wonderful, because what, raga dveshas need to be given up before the destination in Vedanta, which is the truth of oneself, is reached, is it not? So the preparation for self knowledge is what? Shama. Shama is, what is that? Shama is a diet from raga dvesha, because you have to have a resolved mind. Dama, another kind of diet from raga dveshas. Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. Six pack, as we call it. The six pack is what? To master, have mastery over raga dveshas. And then what, we have sadhana chatushtaya, then we have a group of four, we have a what is that, this six pack is one of them. And then mumukshutvam, the desire for to be free of the pandemic called samsara. And then what else, the viveka and vairagya. And of course this six pack is one of them. So then all the viveka, discernment, discernment of what is finite and what is infinite, clearly being able to discern that. Vairagya, giving up the finite, giving up the penchant for the finite. So all this is very much, part of the preparation. So this is something which is associated with Kashi, and then what? Then the second one is what? Dying. Vedanta means what? It's again symbolic. Dying in Kashi. Kashi is associated with death, because there is, there is the symbolism of dying to a new you, dying to the reality, dying to the wrong understanding that I am as good as the body, I am as good as the mind. That is the death that gives moksha, not just going to Kashi and then, popping off there, nothing happens. That's not that, nothing is achieved. But here symbolically Kashi is associated with dying to the dying to the misidentification with the body, the mind, the senses. Without that birth, without that death, the awakening to oneself as the truth of the universe, as the source of the universe, as Ishvara, does not and cannot take place. And therefore this Kashi is associated with death, very symbolic, very very beautiful, very very nice. And so now this is, this is what Kashi is. So now when we take it symbolically, we need not go there at all, because we can accomplish what Kashi gives sitting right there, during the Labor Day weekend, not moving around and causing, causing doctors heartburn, because everybody is moving around, and then, the cases will increase after every long holiday. So here you can have an inner Kashi trip. So the Kashi is a pun, because the Kashi is the self shining I, the self shining self. And about this self shining self, there are five beautiful, beautiful verses that are there. Very short text, and very symbolic, very beautiful to study and understand. And then we will look into that in detail, tomorrow. Okay, so we'll enter the text tomorrow. So now, we will say the closing prayer, and then I'll open it up to questions about whatever you have heard, or even about anything else. Even if it's not related, that's okay, you can still ask. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Thank you. Any questions are there? Oh, I'll post the text again. Yes. Yeah. I hope you got it now. Yeah, if you signed in late, you can just do that. Yeah. Yeah, it is very beautiful. Oh, six pack. Six pack. Yeah, six pack is fun. Six pack list is very nice. So, um, I just shared the text, Ranjana. Please scroll up, and then you will see a kind of a red PDF sign with a little green check mark. At least that's what I see. I don't know what every. And then click on it. It says Kashi Panchakam PDF. That's what I am seeing. I don't know what other people are seeing, but yeah, just scroll up. A happy Teachers' Day to everybody. So six pack is fun. So first one that we discuss is called Dhamma. Dhamma means you learn to manage your external organs, hands, feet, organs of excretion, reproduction, etc. And then, speech. All these are called karmendriyani. And then you organs of action. Because that's the first level of lashing out, reacting, you know. This is what is called in psychological parlance impulse management. Impulse control, impulse management. We don't use the word control, it's impulse management. So you manage whatever impulses that come, and then you are able to, for example, you feel like hitting somebody because they have done something really to wrong you or hurt you, but you don't. You know, that's why we have emojis. So that is these emojis, the emojis with a head on the fire. You that explains how you're feeling, yeah. Why is it called emoji? Because you respect it. You add a G at the end. Yeah, like Swami G, emoji. Okay, so because you respect all these emotions, otherwise they'll get out of hand and completely have a say over you. So you have a healthy respect for all the emotions, therefore emoji. And so therefore what? So then the thing with the head on the fire, and the one that is, what is that, strangling someone else, and those are all this is all dhamma. These emojis are fun because you don't have to actually do that. You just send that off and then you feel like you have done that. This is Dhamma, managing the organs of actions so that you don't, lose your cool. This is the first thing. Then, you can train the organs of actions. The hands want to go strangle something, or the hands want something belonging to somebody else. This wants to come home with me. The what's that? The claws will not let go. And so, therefore, what? Therefore, you are training the hands, you're training the organs of actions to sit still, even though you're fuming inside like that emoji. Then all that head on fire, all these things, you feel like a pressure cooker. Where will all that pressure go? Then therefore you need what is called shama, that is the next level and a deeper level of resolution. Dhamma is the initial level of resolving some things. You de-escalate. That is called Dhamma. And then you resolve the reason for the de-escalation internally. That is called Shama. Very nice. Very important to see the difference, because the mind is fuming. Why did they do this? Why did I do this? Why did they say that? Why did I say that? How did I say that? How did this happen? All these things, you that fuming, you have to love it up. You have to love up the fuming. You have to love up this, the inner child. You have to do all that, that homework, inquiring into the source of this pain. This is called shama. Then, as you are going along this path, you learn to drop the small stuff. Let it go. Oh, but somebody is winning. Let them win. Somebody is going to get ahead. Let them get ahead. Somebody slighted me, wronged me. Let them wrong you. Why? Because I'm a Vedantin. It's okay. I'm not concerned with all these things. Let them go. Let them take it and go. This is called Uparati, Uparama, Uparati. And then Titiksha. Titiksha is not being a, wuss. That is the, I think, the American word, wuss. Wuss means what? Like everything, oh, so hot, so hot, so hot, so cold, so cold, so cold. Oh, I can't handle it. You just, nothing you can do. You know, a waste of a person, really. No strength, no courage inside. And so, this inner courage to put up with the difficulties, especially for this self knowledge, is called titiksha. You know, this is what it is. And then shraddha. This knowledge is definitely going to liberate me from the pandemic of samsara. Iti, this kind of a what is that belief? Is this kind of a trust pending understanding is titiksha. This is what is titiksha. A trust in the guru, a trust in in the shastra, a trust in one's own self. Saying that I will get this knowledge. Is sorry, not titiksha. This is shraddha, reverence, devotion. And then we have samadhanam. Samadhanam means a single minded focus where one is not distracted, especially in these Zoom days, because the same computer is used for so many things. It's used for email, it's used for what else, some updating something, and it's used for some other, so, watching movies, net, some flicks, and all these things. And so, therefore, all this is, you just, the ability to hone in to just what you're doing right now, that is samadhanam. And then this is what is helps to do the ragadveshas. So why do all colonizers manage to give a sense of inferiority? Wonderful question. Well, the thing is, they that this is the only way they can rule, because they have no justification for ruling otherwise. If they keep on saying you are wonderful to everybody, then they will kick you out of their country. Then what are you doing here? First, they have to create a sense of inferiority, then they have to appoint themselves to solve it as a savior. And then they have to continue to say, you will never be like us, so therefore you need us. That is what the kind of a thing it is. So this is where we are, with this colonization thing. Yeah, COVID free weekend. Yeah, good, wonderful, very nice. Yeah, tomorrow also we'll meet with the. Oh, you don't see the PDF? No problem. I'll post it one more time. Then Kashi Panchakam will have the distinction of being posted many times. Sure, it deserves it. Except it's refusing right now. Let me see.
Swaminiji, you can mail it to
Yes.
me. I'll share it with the people in the group.
Can you take it from here,
I
Praveen?
couldn't download. I couldn't download Swamiji. I
Oh,
will try again.
okay.
Uh,
That is Praveen, right?
Yes, Swaminiji.
Yeah, I recognized your voice. Wonderful. Very nice. So, yeah, so now what should I do to it? I should mail it to you?
Yes, Swaminiji.
Swaminiji, I have downloaded. I will
Ah,
post it in that group now.
okay, please.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prasad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Namaskar, Swaminiji.
Om. Very
I'm back.
nice. Very nice. Where had you gone?
No, it's just that samsara had taken me in its waves. I was almost drowning in it, Swamiji.
Oh,
Then I
wonderful.
found you again, and thank you.
Well, I'm glad you are here.
Yeah,
Awesome. Very nice.
actually,
Wonderful.
actually, my husband is still very ill, and
Oh, I'm sorry to
I'm
hear
full time
that.
taking care of him. Yeah. So
Yeah, please give him
anyway,
my best. Please
everything
give
will
him
be
my
all right.
best. Yeah,
Yeah.
please give
Thank
him
you.
my best.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
wonderful. Uh, okay, very well. Yeah, from iPhone. iPhone is saying thank you. It is who is this iPhone? Who are you? I don't think it is Siri. Yeah.
No, it's Manju.
Oh, Manju. Okay, wonderful.
Namaste, Swamiji. Namaste,
Om,
Swamiji.
Om, nice to see you.
Hari Om. Namaste.
Everyone
Nice to
is
see you too.
back. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
More same time, same place tomorrow. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Swaminiji,
Yes.
would you mind share the recording to Swaminiji?
Absolutely. How do I do that?
Thank-
Oh, I
The
can
last
just
in the
email
video.
it to you. When it sends it to me, I'll email it to you. Okay?
Okay, Swaminiji. The link
All
and the
right.
password.
Yeah, please post this whatever this on your group if you haven't done that.
I will, Swamiji.
The
I will.
lectures. Okay?
Okay, Swaminiji.
All right.
Thank
Take care.
Namaste, Swami.
Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. See you
Thank you,
tomorrow. Be
Swamiji.
See
well.
you.
Be well. Take
Thank you.
care.